So the Vatican rankling some American Catholics by seemingly trying to delay the U.S. bishops from taking a stronger stand on how to handle child sex abuse. At this week's annual meeting of Catholic bishops is a very big deal, especially in this moment. It was suddenly announced that the Vatican was asking them not to vote on two key proposals to address sex abuse within the church here in the United States. Now, this comes on the heels of a bombshell Pennsylvania grand jury report uncovering 300 abusive priests and more than 1,000 victims. Since then, at least 12 other states have opened their own investigations. More are coming, and the Department of Justice is also now doing an investigation. Trace Gallagher, live in our West Coast newsroom with the story tonight. Hi, Trace.
Hi, Martha. All of the U.S. bishops who came to the three-day assembly in Baltimore were eager to address the sexual abuse crisis because, at the very least, they felt it would send a message to angry Catholics around the country that bishops are taking this matter seriously. So when the Vatican sent a letter forbidding the bishops from talking or taking action on sexual abuse, there appeared to be a collective what now? Watch.
They're having some hope that we seem to be moving in the right direction to say all of a sudden, okay, you can do everything but actually end up with an action item at the end is frustrating for us.
Yeah, clearly the bishops are frustrated, but survivors and their advocates are furious because the primary goal of this conference was to make sure that bishops are also held accountable for complaints addressed against them. Back in July, then Cardinal Theodore McCarrick resigned after being accused of abusing an altar boy decades ago, and critics accused the Vatican of slow-walking reform. Look.
What they are telling Catholics and the American public is basically, we care more about our organization and our princely titles and positions than we care about children and we care about Catholics.
So far, the Vatican hasn't commented, but Cardinal Daniel DiNardo, the Archbishop of the Galveston-Houston Diocese, who actually received the Vatican letter and broke the news to the bishops, says the Holy See just wants to wait until the global summit in February so bishops worldwide are on the same page. Here he is.
We're dedicated to it. We absolutely want it. The bishops that I've spoken to are of one mind, depending on any of their points of view. They're all on one mind of this. So, to my mind, we're set to go.
Yeah, despite no action this week, the chair for the National Review Board for the Protection of Children and Young People is still asking bishops to conduct a thorough review of their dioceses files dating back to the 1950s. Attorneys general in a dozen states have already launched investigations, but U.S. bishops and Pope Francis have continually clashed on how to address this issue. Martha.
Trace, thank you very much. Here now with more, Father Jonathan Morris, Fox News religion contributor. Father Morris, good to see you as always. What's your reaction?
Well, just to put things in context, what Cardinal DiNardo is saying is we're set to go, meaning we're going to make some serious policy changes that would actually have oversight of the bishops by lay people about how they're dealing with sexual abuse cases. That is a radical policy change. And I think the bishops were on the right track for this. So the question is, why would Pope Francis intervene at the last moment and say, don't do this? Let me tell you, there's maybe two possibilities here. I think those who would be defending Pope Francis's action would say, actually, Pope Francis wants that to happen for the universal church. And that's why he's called this international meeting of presidents and vice presidents of bishops' conferences from all over the world to meet in Rome. And he wants a universal policy. On the other side, others would say, no, that's just a stalling tactic because bishops in Africa and Asia and other parts are not ready to do what the bishops in the United States are ready to do. So we'll find out in February. Is Pope Francis actually saying, well done, bishops of the United States, we want to make that universal? Or is he saying, no, 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 let's not give up so much control to lay people over what would be the defense of the institutional church?
Here's what strikes me. It's the participation of anybody outside the church making a judgment on what's going on inside the church that there is tremendous resistance to. Right?
Yeah, well, lay people are inside the church, and that's an important thing. right?
But they're not making judgment.
Well, I think lay people should be making judgments.
Lay
people should be involved in making very
but I'm
serious
saying
judgments.
that's what there's resistance to.
I believe you're right.
This idea that you're going to have, sort of an outside board that's going to want to see the investigation,
the way I look
that's going
at
to want to see what you're doing.
Lay people are an inside board. They are the church.
Right.
We are the church. We're all the church, and we need mothers and fathers and professionals in law enforcement to be involved to make sure this doesn't happen. What is this all about? There's been thousands of children over the last 70 years. I'm talking about the time basically that some of these reports have studied. Thousands of children that have been abused by clerics. What is wrong with that? And why has there been cover-up? Thank God since 2002, basically the problem of actual abuse by priests has been eliminated statistically. But the cover-up has not been dealt with, and that's the issue here.
Yeah. Well, there were a lot of bishops at this meeting who spoke out very strongly, Sean McKnight of Missouri among them, saying that, perhaps we should refuse to participate in what the Vatican's telling us. Maybe we should go our own way, which is revolutionary.
Well, I think they should go their own way in the sense of deciding what is it that they believe that they should do, and then they should try to propose it to the universal church. That's the way to go.
We're going to stay on it with your help, Father Jonathan. Always thank you very much.
You've done a great job in this story, Martha.
Thank you. Well, thank you. All right, so coming up here, changing gears a bit, Nancy Pelosi.